Hannah.
I'm Suruti.
And we are...
I Could Murder a Podcast.
We could make some form of snake bite. Not in the car. I don't feel comfortable with Brother Burr.
Thank you. We're both Burkers. Facing the camera, the very same Tony Blair that I saw in my bedroom.
Albert Fish, for example, the old needles in the gooch.
They find semen inside him. I'm Suruti.
And I'm Hannah. And welcome to RedHanded Halloween Special Part 2 2025 Finale Edition with Freddie Mercury and Elvis.
Hey.
Hello. It's so good to see you both.
You too. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get to that and everything else we're doing today, do you guys want to please introduce yourselves?
We are I Could Murder a Podcast.
Excellent name, by the way.
Thank you so much.
It was all we had. It was all we had.
It's all I had.
That's better sometimes.
Yeah, so we're, as the same as you guys, we're a true crime podcast. We're a little bit of a baby in comparison, but we're still finding our way in the world. And
Smashing it.
yeah, we just wanted to say happy Halloween, tricky time of year, but this is a real treat to be here today. So thank you so much.
I like that.
Thank you.
I know, it was such a tricky time.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I'm really embarrassed that I took so long to get that.
You know what it was? We went down to go to the toilet before we came on. I realised, like, in this costume, which is an Elvis costume, not Superman. I realised I had to.
The magician said he looks like Superman, and he said it's a shit costume.
It is a shit Superman costume.
Fucking shit.
But good Elvis.
Yes, but I realised I couldn't take it all. I had to take it all off to go to the toilet, and then I thought, Halloween, trick, treat, boom, let's go and film.
Welcome to the world of jumpsuits. It's not fun.
Little pockets.
No pockets, and just very unflattering.
That's not true. You look wonderful.
You're so kind. Thank you so much. But yeah, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
So, do you want to tell us about the little Freddie?
It's just a coincidence. My little Freddie.
Your little Freddie.
There is a little Freddie down here. We were just looking down going, growing up, I love Freddie Mercury. I used to get my mum to buy the little fake moustaches when I was little because I liked him so much. And when I grew up, I wanted to have a hairy chest.
Aww.
And that was all I wanted.
Wow, mission accomplished.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
But that's the only real reason for Freddie. But Elvis?
We went through a few other costumes for me just to go alongside Freddie. And I was just going to come in an orange jumpsuit. But then the fodder that would open me up to in terms of what I've been accused of, what I've gotten away with, what I've been charged with.
We'll go through that later.
Oh, I thought you were going to be, because everyone would be like, it's not funny to laugh at somebody being sent to them.
Oh, yeah, and there was a moral element to it as well. I was also, Austin Powers was in the running, but I also thought, I Googled it, it's offensive to some crowds. So I played it safe with Elvis midway through.
I think he's quite problematic as well.
Bit of a nonce.
Yeah.
Oh, there are stories.
I knew Priscilla in when she was quite young.
Oh, I forgot that part. And how about your costumes?
Hannah?
I have been waiting 10 years for this moment.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Well done.
I cannot express to you in words how happy this will make my mum, because every year she will text me and be like, well, when are you going to do Darla for Halloween? And she send me all of the links. Everyone thinks that I've made a massive amount of effort, but actually I've just been waiting for this moment. And now I've done it. So now I can die happy.
It is great.
It's very
you.
good.
I'm going to put Nemo on the floor.
Floating perfectly.
I have gone a bit more abstract. I don't like dressing up. And I don't know if it's because my birthday is 2 days before Halloween, and so it always gets hijacked by everybody wanting to do fancy dress for Halloween. I'm just like, no, how about we just don't do that? So I have gone with this because I didn't want to be a total stick in the mud and not do it at all. So I went with my biggest fear, which is a toilet snake, as our listeners well know. So it's basically the idea of sitting on a toilet and a snake coming out of the U-bend and biting me on the vagina.
Yeah,
That's
I can imagine
my
that'd
biggest
be, yeah.
And then I saw recently a video of a man in Thailand, and it happened to him, but it bit him on the balls. And it wouldn't let go. So, I don't know why was anyone filming him while he was on the toilet?
Yeah, that's true. It's curious.
Oh, he wasn't filming it himself. It was a third person.
Now I think about it. Anyway, I'm going to believe that. So that's why I am this. And this was going to be around my neck, but it's actually very uncomfortable.
Have you heard about that fish that if you wee into the Amazon water, it goes up the stream? Yeah, that's scary. But I don't know what that looks like in a costume for Halloween.
That is...
a piss fish.
It's because it reminds me of that scene from 90 Day Fiancé. I don't know if anyone else has watched it.
Oh, I love it.
Paul, where he goes to the Amazon...
Yes, he
to
wears all
meet
that.
Kyrene, and he wears a condom to get into the water because he's scared the fish is going to swim up his penis.
Oh, I love that show so much.
And then he runs into the woods when she finds out he's a criminal. Anyway, shall we have a little drink?
Yes, please. We've heard about your famous turbo wine.
The older I get, the more despicable it is for my insides.
Also, the more you refuse to actually drink it.
Oh, for that exact reason. So Turbo Wine, we do have our lovely Turbo Wine glasses, merch, great Halloween present, Christmas present.
For sure.
It's because when I was at university, we used to buy the cheapest, nastiest white wine we could. And it was so disgusting. What we would do is buy some, not Red Bull because we weren't rich, Blue Bolt.
Blue Bolt.
Okay.
Come on.
Mixed with some Echo Falls, Zinfandel, chug it down, yeah, Turbo Wine. It's a party. And I did check how old they were before we started, just to check we were all in the same demographic. And we are.
Lined up nicely. Lined up very nicely.
He's older than us.
Wow.
He's near above.
I mean, August baby, he's the youngest.
It's so funny when we're like in our 30s and regressing to, but you're above.
Yeah, I know. What's your drink?
Turbo wine, I believe we're going to indulge in some of that. But if we wanted an on-brand drink, then, I mean, we could make some form of snake bite with our cider and beer. Not in the cup.
Okay. And it looks like you're dressed to get shit-faced in a way because
Just
Brought my own toilet and everything.
Come
and
on.
the snake. And actually, the team asked, what's the snake called? And he's called Steve Buckshall. Because we went to the podcast show and we saw Steve Buckshall with a giant fucking snake.
I love that.
It was great.
It's a great snake.
Fit.
He's discussed more in our office than literally anything else. And it worries
What a hero.
me.
I need to Google Steve.
Did you ever watch The Deadly 60?
See, the fan club in the wings
The Deadly 60.
correcting.
It's like he's like this incredibly attractive man who goes around and looks at the most dangerous animals in the world.
Is he the one that makes him sting him? You've seen that guy?
That guy's good.
No,
He
it's
makes
not
That's
him,
good.
I don't think.
No.
Like the tarantula ants and things like that.
Yeah, he gets himself stung and he rates the stings.
See, I don't think Steve does that.
Nah, Steve sounds classier than
Like
that.
a
Oh, him!
Yes, thank you.
I saw him kayaking around hippos the other day and it was terrifying.
Most dangerous animal.
But he did it with some charm.
Shall we have a...
Yeah, shall I
we have a
turbo one,
drink?
everyone?
Thank you.
question about turbo wine as well, because this relates to the world of the Jaeger bomb. Do you go wine first, then energy drink, or energy drink,
Wine
then wine?
first, then energy. Do you know what, though? I used to make this joke when we went on tour, because we always drink turbo wine when we're on stage. And when I was obviously discovering this drink, it was Echo Falls plus Blue Bolt. And then when we, got jobs and we were doing this, we were like, we'd drink Prosecco mixed with Red Bull. Of
course.
And I was like, one day when we're millionaires, it will be champagne and cocaine. And then I fucking watched Celebs Go Dating because I'm a trash person. And Kerry Katona was drinking turbo wine.
Oh,
And then she made
she was
the
on
same
champagne
fucking
and
joke.
coke.
And I was like, this is the level of comedy that I am at, where Kerry Katona is taking the jokes that I've made.
And did you see the guy from the chase, the beast, drinking a candle?
Yes, I did. And I felt it was quite mean that every time he walked along, they would just be like, that was mean. So we thought it would be fun before we get into like the Halloween story swap, because you guys have been busy sending us your scary stories. But before we get to that, we thought it'd be fun. Well, 4 true crime podcasters are hanging out together to do some bait AMA. And for the Americans, that means obvious. And maybe people younger than us.
I think bait is the word that we use the most that very specifically indicates how old we are and where we're from.
Yes.
I say sweet, as in like, for good and cool. And I feel that's very uncool to say now.
Where did you guys grow up?
Cambridge.
Oh,
That's why I say sweet.
not far.
you?
Letchworth.
Letchworth.
Oh,
Garden
okay.
City, first roundabout.
Thank you.
That's all our content you just rattled through there.
If anyone's never listened to RedHanded, that's 10 years worth of content you've now caught up on.
Oh, Letchworth.
Okay, so who wants to kick off with the first bait question?
Well, we've learned just before we started filming where your stance is on curly fries. And on that subject, usually a quite a typical one is, what would your death row meal be?
A bucket of barbecue fried chicken from Barbecue Fried Chicken in Changwon, South Korea. Nowhere else.
You're very loyal.
that.
Curly fries?
They're up there, yeah. It would probably be some form of curly fry, maybe a loaded one. No, I'm a big pizza guy as well, so probably a stone baked pizza would be on there as well.
Any toppings? Just more.
Maybe a meat feast, maybe some Korean chicken on top. I don't know. I'm being greedy now.
leave the
decide,
mess to
doesn't
clean up. Yeah.
Well,
I'm veggie, but I might go back to eating meat for a doner kebab, the final one.
That's a great answer.
But I'll lose my morals at the very end. If I'm there, I already lost my morals if it's a death row meal.
are you happy for me, because that literally links to Death Row, to talk about you nearly dying from a doner kebab?
That's a bit.
please.
didn't really die. I just
Went veggie.
I have a thing where sometimes I choke a bit. And yeah, first bite of this next kebab basically got lodged in my throat, and I had to go to a hospital about it. And they had to put a thing down my throat to try and see it. They asked me to swallow. I was like, I can't swallow because I'm choking. And then I'm basically in the room just swallowing the camera whilst being a bit sick. And then they kept me in overnight. And I woke up with doctors around me. And they go, drink this water. I can't drink because I can't swallow. They're like, drink it. So I did that. I'm sick immediately in front of them. And then they just put me under and took the kebab out of my mouth.
But it was still there.
Yeah, just that one bit of kebab. Really savoured the first bite for hours. And got through it in the end there.
And that pushed you into becoming veggie?
No, it just, no.
It's coincidence.
Yeah. But my last meal, I want to try that again.
And then you go out on your own terms if you choke on
Exactly.
it again. I like that.
Exactly.
I feel like depends on the mood. Right now, I would just like a big bowl of fried rice. That's my weakness, white rice. You know this. You know this. My biggest anger is when I go to a restaurant and I've ordered some sort of rice dish and then they won't let me take it away because they tell me it's like health and safety.
Really?
Because apparently it will kill you. And I'm like,
That's,
what?
I thought it was a teaspoon of water and then you can microwave it and it's good.
I have no health and safety standards at my house. Leave it out, heat it up, whatever. Don't tell me what to do.
Maybe you guys don't do that. Okay?
Yeah.
And eat kebabs carefully, all right?
Okay, I've got one. Is there a case that you would never do?
Yeah, the two that we said when we started the podcast that we wouldn't go near was the murder of James Bolger and the Dunblane massacre. And predominantly that was because our parents, the age that they were at the time of these two cases, James Bolger, that case absolutely broke my parents' heart, and as did much of the country at the time.
Yeah.
And then Dunblane was kind of a...
Yeah, I think my mum was a teacher, so I think she just kind of linked the age of students and all that happening. And yeah, I think she's just like that. Yeah. So we've ended up covering them, but they were kind of, we were very careful with them. And yeah, we're quite lighthearted with our true crime, but we were quite down the middle for that one. What are you guys?
James Bolger was definitely one of them. And similarly, because it's actually quite interesting because my parents came to the UK when James Bolger was murdered.
Yeah.
Like it was within weeks of when they'd moved out here. And so they were just like, what the fuck? And it was just like something that really stuck in their minds. So I think it was one of those cases that's just so, so horrible. But a few years ago, I was like, no, this is silly. Like it's a really important, pivotal case in UK history. Like we should talk about it. And I started to write it. And I told you this. And my Google Doc just went crazy. And it was really bizarre. It was like lines all over my laptop, and I couldn't get my laptop to turn off or turn back on. And then when I did, that page just looked super corrupted, even though every other page looked good. And I'm not like a believer in spooky things. We said we would play a drinking game where we said we'd drink every time someone said spooky. But the consensus was we wouldn't be saying spooky that much.
Siri also hasn't been drinking for a while, so she's going to get fucked up.
No.
Nice.
And I haven't been having caffeine.
She's just going to drop dead.
Yeah, it just really freaked me out. Even though I was like, obviously there's not James Bolger's fucking ghost in my laptop, but it really freaked me out. And I never went back to it. I just was like, no, I'll write something else.
I got a bit of, I'm sure you guys have got flack in the past for having certain opinions on things. But I said on that case in particular, I was like, you either believe in rehabilitation or not, in terms of with children doing things. And then my idea was just like, you can't just say one thing for one case, one thing for another. You either believe in doing that rehabilitation. And then some people just, went to town thinking I was saying, that's not my point I was making. But
it's a tricky one. Another bait question. I'm going to go super bait. Okay. If there's one case that you could have solved that's a mystery, what would that case, if you could know the definitive answer?
Wow. That's Michael Peterson. I mean, but staircase.
I told you. It's good.
Yeah,
it's not a bad impression.
It's a good impression. Wow.
I don't care what anybody says about anything. It just couldn't, it could not be, it's not true and it can't be true.
Michael Peterson, the staircase, because I know some people go, he 100% did both the murders. Yeah. I've gone full circle with that, and I've landed on the owl.
What's the biggest thing that convinced you it was the owl?
It's the blood on the front door and the little micro owl feathers. How do you get micro owl feathers in your head? How does that happen? I would love to see a little quick, owl. And I've also kind of followed that case a little bit and looked at his son's Instagram recently, and it is Michael Peterson living with him, and it's just a very weird dynamic. That one's always fascinated me, but what are you?
I have quite a strong opinion on the John Benet Ramsey case, so that would be
What is it?
Go on.
I get called out every time I have this opinion because apparently it's a common opinion, but there's not as much weight to it. But I just don't I don't feel comfortable when I watch interviews with the brother Burke.
Thank you. We're both Burkers.
Oh,
You're fine.
perfect.
Yeah, no,
Bunch of
I
Burkers.
do also think
Bunch
it
of Burkers,
probably
sure.
was Burke. Yeah. Who? Oh, it was with. We did a collab yesterday with another podcast that's not true crime. They're like more ghosty, and then they were talking about the Jean-Benet Ramsey, and I was like, oh, I definitely think it's brother, and they were like, you think it's the brother?
Yeah.
And I think maybe like people who don't spend a lot of time like us being weird and just researching cases obsessively, like maybe don't see how it could be because they thought I meant that he had like maliciously killed her. I think it was an accident.
Yeah,
And
yes.
then
And then
the parents were like, you know, why let him grow up with that horrible stigma or whatever.
Yeah, why lose two children?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was another case. I literally have the name. Maybe you could help me. The name of the case on my mind. It's about a group of young Americans that went missing in the mountains. They were driving back from a football game. There's something.
Yoruba. Yeah.
Yuba County,
Yeah.
Yuba County 5. So we did, it sounds awful. We did a Christmas special a few years ago, put up in the mountains in the snow. And that case has bugged me so much because there's so much to it. And there are so many different, there was a witness that had a heart attack whilst the boys were apparently in the mountain. The Yuba County 5. I'm so fascinated by that
one
case.
is we did that one years ago. That one is a good one.
What about you guys?
Oh, Maddie, so we can fucking move on.
No.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of hearing about Madeleine McCann. I just don't care.
We were asking on a podcast recently if you go back in time to any moment. I said to see what happened, and then I was ridiculed for that. I like to see what
Was that the other week when I did the Titanic thing?
Yeah, you wanted to see the Titanic. You wanted to be a seagull watching the Titanic, and I said a fish would be better because you get to see more action. But
The question was if you could be anywhere in history at any time and witness anything. Yeah, stupidly, I went straight to a seagull just watching the Titanic. Which kind of be
Interesting.
fascinating.
yeah, no,
case.
the McCann one, same. I'd like that to be. That's one that I actually generally think in years to come will be solved.
There was a news alert the other day, wasn't there, about the germ, being released. Yeah,
It's like I looked into that. We like talked about it on like Patreon ages ago. I just don't know. It could be him. He's a wrong and he was in the area. Maybe. I think the one for me, Robert 1.
Robert 1.
I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
It doesn't ring a bell.
It's really good. I would highly recommend listening to our episode or waiting till
Yeah.
our episode is out, whichever.
Maybe we'll put it out first.
Well, I'll give you all my theories then. Basically, very, very short summary about it. 32-year-old lawyer in DC. He's like works late and then he goes to his friend's house, who he's known since university, to stay the night because he lives like a 40-minute drive outside of the city. And his friend, he's called Joe, and he lives with his partner, Victor, and a lodger, Dylan. And everything's normal. He gets there 79 minutes after Robert gets there, which is only at like 10:30, so not like the middle of the night. There's a 911 call from the house, and it's the husband, and he's calling the police saying someone's been stabbed in the house, and it's Robert. And Robert's been stabbed, and he's dead. And they say, the three men in the house say, there was an intruder in the house. But there is literally not one shred of evidence that anybody came into that house. There is no evidence. It's like, and I don't even mean just like, oh, well, the absence of evidence doesn't mean blah, blah. No, like there's no way someone could have come into the house. It's like a mid-terrace townhouse, and the back garden is like literally just a courtyard surrounded by super high fences. And there's still cobwebs around the top of the fences and like
the
pollen
webs.
on the top of and like, how is somebody going to have vaulted over that into a neighbor's garden and run off into the night, even though the neighbors were awake? And we're like, we didn't see anybody fleeing through our garden, and everything's been undisturbed on the top. Like, there's no way. So it's one of them. It's definitely one of the men in the house.
What does the snake think?
He knows, but he doesn't know if this episode is out yet or not. No, and basically, like, the weird thing is Robert's found in bed and he's been stabbed, but there's like no blood. And so they think that someone's cleaned it up, but like, you can't clean up blood that easily or that quickly.
Yeah.
Was the knife still inserted?
Well, that's another question. It wasn't there when the police got there, but the story changes about whether it was in him or whether it was on the bedside table. And I don't think he died of the stab wounds. I don't think they cleaned it up. I don't think he died of the stab wounds. But the biggest thing, and I will leave it at that, is that they find semen on Robert and inside him. And when you hear that, you're like, well, that's who did it. Whoever semen that is the one who killed Robert. And then you find out. Do you want to guess whose it was?
His own.
Roberts.
It was his own.
Hey.
Oh.
Oh.
So is it still I don't want to spoil the episode, is it still a technically unsolved case, or was there justice for Robert?
No justice.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Oh.
Spooky.
That makes turbo wine sound not so bad. Christ.
Yeah. Well, the setting of that reminds me of a case we covered recently, which was Dr. Sneer and Philip,
No.
the 9/11 mystery. She was a young doctor
Oh, yes.
in New York.
Yes.
But there was lots going on in her life in the build up to September of 2001. There were allegations. And the part of this episode that I hated, it was potentially falling into the trap of speaking ill of the dead. But there was a lot going on in her life at the time in terms of her marriage was on the rocks. The family were in debt. She'd been sacked from a recent facility that she worked at. There were allegations about her different sexuality that she may have. And 9/11 happens. She was out drinking in a bar in New York, in a known gay bar in New York. Her husband was at work. She never came back, but there were calls made to the apartment. 9/11 happens. She's a doctor. She's in the area, literally walking distance from the Twin Towers, and she was never seen again.
Yeah.
So people immediately were, okay, she's a doctor. She ran in to try and help people. And there was her brother did an interview on national television to say that I was on the phone with her. She told me she needed to run into the building and help people. And he later admitted that was a lie and the phone call never happened. I think she's been legally declared dead, although she's been missing since 9/11. And it was, that was similar circumstances, but just such an uncomfortable read in terms of, other people were theorizing she fled the country and she's living a new life and she, faked her death to start this new life. But it's always hard when you're dealing with cases where there hasn't yet been justice for these people.
I've got a good question. So have you guys ever been contacted by anyone involved in any of the cases that you guys have covered?
Yes. I feel like you've got a better story.
No. We've had a couple interesting ones, but one in
Couple.
yeah, we've had a jury member from the Menendez case.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, she did seem like the type of person that would contact anyone that released any content about the case, but very interesting opinions.
But and then the main one was I was out the other day just grabbing a coffee and then got a message from Ben, and it was a screenshot, and it said, it was on Instagram, a DM. It said you did a case, an episode on my husband, and we were like, like, don't know who that is, and like we were just kind of sitting there, like, when your gut just kind of goes, who is this? What have we said about them? And we didn't know in that instance whether or not they were the victim and we do minisodes on our website basically, and it was a minisode we did, but it was on, is it Herman?
Randy Herman Jr.
Randy Herman Jr., who when he was sleepwalking, he killed a housemate.
Allegedly.
Well, he did kill them, but whether it was murder.
The sleepwalking part was alleged.
Okay, sorry. But so there was a Hulu documentary got absolutely slated for being very kind of sympathetic towards him. But he basically, it's a very interesting case. But his wife messaged us saying if you wanted access to him and any of the court things. He's still in prison, which was bizarre.
Did you go back?
So it was in August because Tom and producer Dan, who's not here, but they very kindly did like a birthday shout out for me. And, in the message requests folder on Instagram. So there was like a couple dozen like, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And then just this one line that said, you did an episode about my husband. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. We haven't yet gone back. Hopefully they're not listening.
Probably sleeping. And the other one was where someone who was actually studying at Virginia Tech when that happened, and we covered the case, and they were very very nice about it, saying like
Did they know the shooter? I
don't know if they did. They said that they were there at the time,
were on campus,
and they just said it's important to keep the message out there, and because the thing with being slightly lighthearted, true crime, like you guys do as well. Sometimes you think like you're walking a bit of a tightrope, and you're like. Yeah, but then when people respond who are actually there and part of the case saying it's important to get the story out, really like how you told it, you feel like, okay, that feels the best thing they could possibly ever say. But I think it's very jarring to have someone reach out. The other one was
I believe it's Gary Plauché Jr. His son was going to a local gym. I believe he was getting karate lessons from this older gentleman in this gym. It turns out for many years, this older gentleman in the gym was molesting and being sexually inappropriate, was abusing this young boy. And the father found out about it. The father was the one that got him all these lessons. And the instructor was arrested. He was being transferred from a different state via plane. And there's a news crew were there to film the transfer of him through this airport. And in the background, you see a dad with a hat and glasses on, and he just suddenly turns. And
because he kidnapped his son. He kidnapped his son, didn't he? For a while.
His son, yeah.
Yes, case. But his son
reached out. Yeah, the victim of the case.
Reached out as well. Yeah, which is sometimes you do the podcast, you don't think about who's listening, and like it's obviously very good to start thinking about that as well. But
You're just in a little room together or remotely or whatever, and you don't think about the wider world at all.
Or in a magician's house.
No, it's so true. It's easy to lose sight of who's listening and how many people are. And I don't mean it in the like, oh, we have this responsibility, but it's like, it's just good to be cognizant of the fact that people are listening. Because I think when we do live shows, it's like a reminder. And yes, when people message us, but like, yeah, otherwise it's just you two and a mic, or you three and a mic. I think we've had a few ones of people get in touch. I think the best one is probably old Hamface, which I probably shouldn't use that name.
Hamface or Uncle Ron, I would argue.
Yes. Well,
So many questions.
Hamface, I'll tell you about Hamface. So did you guys ever cover, or have you come across the Gable Tosti case?
No.
So Gable Tosti is a very interesting man. It took place in Australia. And basically he matched with this woman on Tinder, and then he goes on a date with her, brings her back to his house. I believe her name was Warina. And she was just on holiday there, like for a wedding from New Zealand. And she's like, you know, having a little holiday romance. And he immediately starts like being quite weird. Like he starts audio recording the entire date without her knowing. And they've gone out, they've had some drinks, they're back at his house. And I had to sit and listen to all of this raw audio, and it is hours and hours and hours long. And it's so inane, but it's also quite invaluable because of what happens next. And basically what ends up happening is that Marina dies. And he says that she jumped off his balcony. But what it obviously sounds like in the audio is they have a fight, and then he puts her out on the balcony. He says, I just put her out on the balcony and closed the door, but I didn't do anything else. And then she was so drunk and crazy that she threw herself off the balcony. Wow. And to me, I was like, okay, you know, I'm not there. It's not a video recording. I can't say it. But I said, listening to the audio, that's not what sounds like is happening. Because when you can hear him put her outside, and you can hear the glass door of the balcony close, and you can hear her voice become more muffled. So it sounds like, yes, she is now on the other side of the balcony and you're inside. I can hear all of that. But the thing I can't hear is as soon as you put her outside, she sounds hysterical the whole time he's moving her outside. And she sounds really hysterical when he puts her on the balcony, like insanely hysterical. And I'm sorry, if somebody locked me out on a balcony and I wanted to get back in, I'd be banging on the door. Yeah. She never bangs on the door. So I theorized he's put her over the railings. And that's why she's so hysterical and she's holding on. Because what? You're telling me and everybody else then that she's standing on the other side of the balcony screaming at you to let her in, but her arms are by her side and she's not banging on the glass door. Like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. And also she falls immediately. She's like 5 seconds and she's falling and she hits the floor. And then he calls a lawyer. And then he goes to Domino's. Anyway, like I just said, it doesn't make sense that that's what she would have been doing. So I think he put her over the railing. So he is responsible for her death. And he didn't go to jail for it. He got away with it. And then he basically...
He's back on Tinder.
And he basically found out about it because he does have this weird following of women that are obsessed with him.
What is this?
Which is just so despicable.
You have a type, I guess.
Yeah, and they basically told him that we had covered this case. He has this whole thing where he thinks he's very attractive. You know, obviously it was a long time ago. She make fun of people's appearance. But I did say he's got a bit of a ham face, a bit of a hammy face. It's not my best work. And then basically our listeners, and we did tell them not to. We were like, don't go looking for him. Please don't look for this man. Don't call him ham face. That was just a little joke between us. And then they were like calling him this, and then he just got obviously very irate. And I honestly think there's loads of shows that say he did it, but we are maybe a show that 2 women laughed at his appearance, and I think that's what he didn't like. And yes, it was low, but whatever. And he basically was getting in touch with us, being like, I'm going to report you to HMRC. Like, that was his threat.
Literally. Go on Company's House, mate. Like, we pay our taxes. It's very obvious and clear and easy to find.
Little clap back as well. HMRC. Well, it was a fucking struggle, that one.
Good one. Let's all
Can I say as well, the whole time because I was not familiar at all with the case, and I'm not going to go and call him Hamface, but I'm with the guys. I was gripped by that story, and then midway through, around the balcony moment, I realised that you were holding a snake going through a toilet lid, and I just started staring at the snake, and I was like,
Steve.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a really good story. You guys should look at it.
Definitely,
especially because there is so much audio, and I think, I don't know how he got away with it, because I think the audio alone, to me, proves that he didn't leave her out on the balcony. But anyway, that was probably the one that, because it was quite early and my parents were like, and I was like, he's in Australia or whatever. Now, shall we do story swap?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this is actually from one of our listeners. This one, Spooky Kids. Oh, we're not doing Spooky Kids.
Yeah, sorry.
This is the problem with the drinking game thing, is that we always think it's a good idea and then everyone forgets halfway through.
I used to work in a children's nursery that operated out of an old refurbished farmhouse. The attic was the infants area, separated into 2 zones. There was the infants playroom, and then down a dark, narrow corridor, you reached the cot room, where the little ones napped. A video monitor was set up so staff could keep watch of the babies as they slept, alongside physical checks every 10 minutes. That afternoon, after the children had finished eating, most were settled down for their naps. Only 2 of us were on duty, as everyone else had gone to lunch. My colleague went to do a quick routine check, and when she came back, she remarked that the cot room felt strangely cold, so she turned the heating up in there. Neither of us thought much of it at the time, but not long after, we noticed something strange on the video monitor. Did you guys ever do that Kurim case? Do you remember that one?
I sure do.
Karim.
Okay.
no.
Kurim.
No, I'm immediately thinking of that woman who has had so little sleep, then looks at a baby monitor, sees herself on it, picking her child up, and has a panic attack. Someone's with my baby, and it was her because she'd had so little. It went semi-viral.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. No, this one's much worse. It was the one where there's this like couple that live in this house. They've got a baby monitor, and it starts picking up interference. And basically it was picking up interference from next door. And there was a family that were abusing their kids, but I mean like skinning them. And they were had some sort of weird torture cult going on next door. I can't remember all the exact details.
That's basically it.
That's enough. Wow.
And they called the police, and that's like how the girls were rescued. So yes, they see something weird on the video monitor screen. Basically, one of the cots showed the shape of a baby pressed up against the bars of the crib. It was hard to miss, even with the grainy black and white feed. Now, obviously, she says, we were alarmed. So following safety policy, my colleague went to move the child. She came back almost immediately, though, looking pale and unsettled, and said a sentence I've never been able to forget. There isn't a baby in that cot. At first, I laughed, saying, what do you mean? We both saw a baby on the video feed, clear as day. Assuming she'd made a mistake, I made my way down to the corridor to check for myself. The ancient floorboards creaked with every step I took, like the house itself was warning me. And when I opened the door to the cot room, I realised something was different. The room was icy cold. My skin prickled. My breath fogged. I went to check the central heating. Like my colleague said, it was on full blast. The babies didn't even seem to be affected by the cold. They were all sleeping peacefully. I went from cot to cot, confirming each child was accounted for. And I started to relax. Maybe my colleague was just mixed up earlier. As I made my way over to the cot in question, I waved in the direction of the camera, as if to say, everything's fine in here. But then I stopped in my tracks. All the babies were asleep, except one. The cot, the one occupied on the monitor, was empty. There was completely nothing there. Now the goosebumps on my arms were for more than just the cold. Back in the playroom, me and my colleague tried to dismiss it. Maybe it was just a glitch in the monitor. But as we spoke, the lights flickered. Once, twice, long enough to make us both freeze. We phoned the manager who was downstairs and asked her if there was anything wrong with the electrics today. She said no. Now, seriously spooked, we insisted that she... Spooked. We insisted she come upstairs now. The moment the manager stepped foot in the attic, the lights went out completely for a second before flaring back on, steady and bright. The baby stayed quiet, as though nothing had happened. Our manager was skeptical, thinking maybe we were pranking her. But when we tried to show her the monitor, the feed was clear. Every cot was visible. There was no trace of what we'd seen. Nothing at all. What could it have been? A trick of the monitor? Our imaginations? I don't know. The 2 of us saw the same exact thing, and neither of us could explain it. But I'll never forget what I saw, what I felt. I still think about that empty cot and whatever or whoever was inside it. What was it? Ghost baby?
I mean,
Demon baby?
I think
Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's? Monster?
if you're running a nursery, I think you should know how many kids are there and the layout, and you should be on that, right?
Yeah.
I just am not convinced that any nursery actually has cots in it. Aren't they supposed to be like free roaming babies?
That's a very good point.
I don't
When
know.
was this? When was what was the era of this case? Was it
I don't
Back in the day.
back in the day?
Back
you know?
in the day. Well,
The era is a Gmail that was closed for many years, and we have just reopened.
I just think they were glitch.
Little glitch, yeah. A little. I hate to just put it down to that, but a little glitch.
A little glitch.
Is one I made. Well, I'm immediately thinking of. It's a really interesting question that our producer Dan raised. We were doing do you know the Joel Guy Jr. case?
Yeah.
The parent annihilator. We were doing an episode together a few weeks ago, and he talked about perspective when you're consuming true crime content. And actually, this might be a fascinating one to ask you guys and your lovely crew. When we were listening to your tale there, everyone that's listening to that has a different perspective of what you've just explained.
Yeah.
Some people view it in first person, third person, cinematically, fly on the wall. In the Joel Guy Jr. case, there was a moment where he's already, unfortunately, murdered his father. Her mother's out getting groceries for him for Thanksgiving. He's hiding in the house waiting for his mum to come upstairs to find her husband deceased. And Dan consumes true crime content and reads all of these scripts in first person.
His head, yeah.
Interesting.
So Albert Fish, for example, the old needles in the gooch.
Throw that out.
Yeah.
But Dan would be putting needles into himself. Wow. Whereas I'm straight away...
Picture him putting needles into himself.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So the whole time you explained that, I was there, like I saw the baby monitors. I was a fly on the wall. I'm very cinematic with how I would listen to that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are first person.
Yeah.
Wild. That's when you like find out some people don't have an inner monologue. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that.
What's going on in there?
He was very... he was very aware of the fact that he sees it because he's felt... So Dan's not perhaps as into true crime as we are. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple of cases when we used to film in person where you could feel him going faint and like about to pass out and he needed to go and get some air.
Yeah.
So he's consuming true crime like he's watching Peep Show.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
intense.
He's super hands. The whole time I was seeing a flickering monitor. I was seeing the room. I was seeing empty and it's just, I wondered if there were any first personers in the room.
No, I'd say
Any pobs in the room?
Any pobs?
No.
Any pobs?
No.
No pobs in the room.
None now.
Could just be, I mean, Dan asked the question. Loads of people were like, me too.
He does get a bit queasy quite a lot, doesn't he? Yeah.
A lot, but that explains it.
It
When,
does.
in that instance, I suppose he's an imaginary baby.
Really?
Or is he the scared nursery
Yeah, I think the nurse, because the baby...
Yes,
Or is he the flickering, glitching CCTV camera?
The thing about perspectives, it blows my mind.
I don't think I could listen to true crime if I was a first person. No.
Maybe they're the people who don't like it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're torturing Dan every time we do a podcast.
Yeah, he got very upset yesterday. We talked about the case of Emmett Till, and it was, again, if you're familiar with that story, Dan put himself in first person for that, which is, I'm saying he put himself like it was a choice.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's rough. I don't think I could do this if I was in first person for these cases.
No. So I was like, come on, let's keep talking. But there were loads of people that were like, yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you keep listening?
Yeah.
Why'd you? Please listen. But
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, perspective,
Do you want to share a little story?
Yeah, give us a story.
This fell really nicely for us as a few series ago. We released episodes 12 weeks on, 12 weeks off. So a few months ago, Tom had a segment which was Spooky Corner. And similar to you guys, we had loads of our listeners send stories in and we weren't able to tell all of them, but I'm very happy to be able to share this one today. So this was actually sent in by Jim B. Okay. Hi, chaps and ladies. I'm horribly aware that this may be a bit late in being sent, but I wanted to recount this spooky event that happened to me some 30 odd years ago in the hopes that you gents and ladies find it interesting. While this occurred a long while ago, just outside Maidstone in Kent, it nonetheless has ingrained itself in the firmament of my memory. I did have to Google firmament.
I've never heard that word before.
Yeah, it's in the front of his mind. It's always been on his mind. So here goes. As far as I can remember, the event occurred one summer night circa 94 or 95. Most of us here were sort of 5-6 years old, I believe. Yeah, maybe I was on my way to 6.
I just said I was 36 in 2 weeks. I'm not in 35. I'm still the youngest. Please continue.
It happened as I was walking home from spending the evening with my mates at the other end of town. I love this way of just saying I was pissed, by the way. Fortified by the world's supply of alcohol, I decided to take an unfamiliar shortcut through a nature reserve, most of which was wooded, as doing so would probably take off half an hour from my journey home. The downside of this shortcut was not only that it was a pretty scary place at night, but it also required climbing over a large locked gate and therefore trespassing. But as CCTV wasn't really a thing back then, nor was the area patrolled by any kind of security, at least as far as I knew, I thought it was a fairly safe bet that I wouldn't get pinged by anyone. So I went for it, assured in my somewhat addled brain that my espionage skills would allow me to pass like shadows in the wind. Sadly, I was disabused of such prideful sentiments as I found myself quickly entangled by brambles and other snagging type undergrowth. As the
Russell Brand right there.
So, as I elected to climb over the gate, it was situated at the very back end of the nature reserve in an area that was left to grow wild. I managed to free myself from the area with much of my arms and legs torn up, and more by dumb luck than judgment, I found myself on a woodland path that dropped down into a wide dip, dissected by a stream, which crossed via a small bridge. It's like Tolkien. The path then led up to the other side and joined a main path that I knew would eventually lead out of the woods via a stile and requiring the climb of another large gate, before I would then be into a small housing estate close to home.
This feels like when you read about like a hiking route on All Trails. It's like a very detailed breakdown of
All
your
Trails.
path. Fuck All Trails. I hate All Trails.
Oh, wow.
Because I feel like the categorization of their trails is highly inaccurate.
It's like Dwight Schrute directions.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Feel like someone on a creative writing course who hasn't got to the plot bit yet.
Yeah.
But he's building.
Module
he's
plot.
building. Jim's building. As I slowly stumbled my way down the path, I suddenly became aware of a light bobbing and weaving through the trees to my left. Groaning inwardly, I assumed I was about to get collared by a security guard or some such attached to the end of a maglite torch, and so started to prepare the dickhead who got lost on his way home routine, which to be fair wasn't that far away from the truth. As the light wove its way closer, I soon saw that it wasn't a torch or indeed a pissed off security guard that was about to give me the good news, but it was what appeared to be the upper torso of a man with arms flaying about like some sort of macabre puppet that seemed illuminated from the inside. As if that wasn't terrifying enough, I could see that he had no face whatsoever, just like a black void. He had long hair that appeared loosely tied back in a Regency-style ponytail / plait, wrapped in a leather-looking ribbon. I could make out the top half of its legs, which seemed to fade into nothing just above the knee.
This guy is the best eyewitness ever. Can you
Right?
imagine
And
seeing this, being that scared and being like, Regency style, leather ribbon.
And he's fucking
if I was
pissed.
the police, I'd be like, can you just come on, man. Finishing shift.
At this point, I was rooted to the spot, praying that the warm sensation spreading down the front of my shorts was just the result of my laboured climb up the steep hill. The figure continued staggering past me, moving rather like one of those people you see in old film reels as the frames jump about, giving the appearance of a jerky kind of walk.
Oh, like the Ring.
Kind of like very jerky. The figure then passed me and appeared to totally fade out from the head downwards. Looking down, my worst fears were now confirmed as I stared at the wet map of Africa that had suddenly appeared on the front of my shorts.
I've got a birthmark on my leg that looks like Africa.
Get it out.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I've got the British Isles on the top of my thigh, but that's for OnlyFans.
But to be honest, I say that was fair play after witnessing what I had just seen. With my senses returning to me, I took off at a rate that would give Usain Bolt a run for his money. Excuse the pun. I have never seen anything like this before or since, nor do I ever wish to. Some years later, I did some research into the area to try and see if any similar accounts were reported or any weird incidents existed.
He waited years before
Yeah,
he
just
looked
let it calm
into
down.
it. He was like, don't want to know.
Bad hangover. And I soon came across a very interesting piece of history. It turns out the nature reserve is actually part of what was once the private gardens of a large manor house known as Vinters Manor that owned much of the land around there too. Legend has it that two brothers who lived in the manor both fell in love with the same young lady who was the daughter of one of the tenant farmers. Upon finding out that she was the object of both of their desires, they ended up fighting a duel in woodland not far from their home. The younger brother shot his older sibling, winning the duel and the affections of the young lady. It is... No, please.
No.
It's going to be good. He's quick.
It generally wasn't good.
It is said that the wounded duelist tried to make his way back, but died somewhere in the woods on the grounds of the estate, his stomach blown apart. So maybe what I saw was some grisly replay of that brother's final moments. I would love to hear what you guys think or would do in a similar situation. Best wishes and a massive thanks for taking the time to read this.
Cheers, Chimby.
And Jim B, you can include my name if you want.
What would I have done? Probably researched it sooner.
Yeah, less piss.
I
I like to think.
Oh, I definitely would have pissed myself.
I definitely would have.
But I would have just got an Uber home.
94/5.
Black cab.
Bummer.
Black cab home.
Black cab.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's all right, yeah.
I like that.
Glad I bigged you up, Jim.
This must be a question you get all the time. If you were going to murder someone, how would you do it?
Oh, I
these-
went immediately quite bad, didn't I?
You did
Showed
before.
bad insight to my personality.
It's an old folks' home, wasn't it? And
Just slip somebody in the food.
yeah,
But just because that's, I don't
that's how to get away with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Icicle knife.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Ice sword is a good one.
Yes, yeah.
I sword.
Does, I do feel quite emasculated.
His dagger.
People do say that, but I'm like, that's not always the main reason people get away with it just because they couldn't find the murder weapon.
There's that one in Edinburgh, wasn't it, where they'll push off the old cliff top
Yeah, what's that called? Arthur's Seat.
with a push off a cliff. You can't really judge it.
It's like pushing your wife down the stairs if you didn't get the owl to do it.
Why
Release the owls.
Yeah, why was the owl so angry?
Have you seen videos of owls? Like there's like nest cams of owls in America snatching other birds from nests, and it's terrifying.
And owls eating rabbits. That video.
And there was other people in the area who were like, I was out jogging and an owl attacked me in
Yeah,
the back of the head.
They can also sit cross-legged.
That's cool.
Yeah.
they have really long legs. as
Oh
well.
yeah, the skeletons of an owl are actually quite terrifying because it's just
This is from, she spelt it R-H-I, which I would say really like short for Rihanna, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, and here is what she has to say. In my early 20s, I started working at an extremely well-known haunted pub in, wait for it, Cockwood, Devon. It's called the Anchor Inn. The pub has a very nautical, old-timey smuggler's vibe, and it's over 450 years old. Originally, it opened as a seaman's mission way on the local harbour, a haven for soldiers and smugglers. And they bring the seamen themselves. Local legend says that the pub is haunted by a friendly fisherman and his dog. And I knew all of these stories before I started working there. Little did I know how close I would get to the seamen.
that's where I went.
I had my fair share of weird experiences whilst working at the pub. Like all of the staff members, I often had a feeling of being watched from the dark corners of the bar snugs late at night while locking up. But one night, whilst I was chopping onions, seems like an odd late night task, surely that's morning prep, I felt a whole hand on my waist, as if to move me out the way. I turned around to apologise to my fellow chef, to find that no one was in the kitchen with me. It took a while to shake off the uncomfortable feeling of those hands
Them hands.
gripping me. And as hard as I tried, I could never quite explain it away. Anyway, the time came when I needed somewhere to live. And the flat above the pub was surprisingly cheap because it was 100% haunted. But I was poor, so I had to live there anyway. My first night was eerie, strange sounds and creaking aplenty, with cold breezes coming through the ancient single-pane windows that couldn't be replaced because it's a heritage site. Oddly, the sounds of voices coming up through the floorboards of my colleagues and guests laughing was actually quite comforting. So I drifted off to sleep quite happily. It doesn't sound like it. Although I didn't stay asleep. Every night, without fail, at about 4 a.m., I would be woken up in a cold sweat by a blare coming from the pub's burglar alarm.
Tony Blair.
Tony Blair is just shouting at the end of your bed. If my sleep paralysis demon was Tony Blair, I would be. We were talking about this in the Aussie the other day, about when Sophie, etc., were at school, they were all really worried about obesity, so all the children had to be weighed and everyone had to be weighed in front of everyone. But obviously our generation, Tony Blair was just quite worried that we actually couldn't read. So it was just literacy and numeracy, wall to wall.
I'm going to prove that we're in a bit.
Yeah. Anyway, every time Tony Blair appeared, I would jump up and go and turn it off and check for intruders, but there was never anyone there.
Does this happen to you? Like when you're just at home, your Alexa will just randomly turn on and start playing music?
That's scary.
No.
Is that just me? Why is that?
That's
happening?
just you and the plot of 222, A Ghost Story.
Why is that happening?
And what songs? Is it certain
It just
songs?
turns the radio on. I was at home the other day, and I was like, So I was just at home watching TV, and nobody on TV. I wasn't speaking because I was at home on my own. The TV didn't say, Alexa, turn on BBC Radio 1. but just turn on BBC Radio 1.
I'm Radio 2 now. I'm over the hill.
What is it? Android that's a da-da-da-da-da. So I live in the middle of nowhere and there's one neighbour, but they usually work night shifts. So nights are pretty chilled. Yeah, about 3 or 4 months ago, the text tone to what I believe is an Android, about 4 a.m, as if it was outside my window. And it sounds like quite a jovial tone right now, the way I repeat it. But
I don't want to hear that out of nowhere.
That makes it worse.
Nothing
Yeah,
terrifies
right?
me more than Android.
Makes it worse.
If I had a drink, I'd say, sounds kind of spooky.
hey,
Looking out.
weird, right?
Lives in the old people, so Androids.
Yeah, I live off the back of an abandoned care home.
Oh, come on.
Well, part of it's abandoned. The care is really bad. Part of it was an old
They just
workout.
lock them up and leave them to die.
Back to the seaman.
Yes.
All right, Freddie.
Ew.
So, we assumed that the alarm sensors must be faulty if they're going off at 4 o'clock in the morning every single day. So the landlord had them checked out, but they were perfectly fine. The only thing that could possibly trigger the alarm was the presence of a person, especially Tony Blair. One night, I woke up in a cold sweat again at 4 a.m, naturally. But this time it wasn't the alarm. There was a loud banging on my wall. As my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I saw a bearded man wearing a thick fisherman's jumper and a distinctive hat stood in the corner of my room, staring right at me. I shot upright and flicked the bedside light on, but he had vanished. And then I heard it. Pause on the flagstones below, scurrying around the pub downstairs. I grabbed my trusty club. Are you all right? You're sleeping with a club under your pillow.
All right, Fred Flintstone.
And with my heart in my throat, I ran downstairs only to find the pub completely empty with all of the doors locked and everything completely still. I knew then for certain that I was not alone. The next morning, I smudged my apartment with sage and used some protective spells that my witchy mother gave me to try and make a pact with my ghostly roommate. You stay in the pub downstairs, Tony Blair, and I will stay upstairs. To my amazement, it worked. After that night, the alarm stopped, and Tony Blair, in his fisherman jumper, never returned. Years later, scrolling through Facebook, a local history page had posted a photo of the Anchor Inn in 1885. Pushing a wheelbarrow on the harbour, facing the camera, was the very same Tony Blair that I saw in my bedroom. Same beard, same war crimes, same thick fisherman jumper, same hat. A little bit of wee came out when I saw that photo.
So much piss.
The picture solidified what I had been trying to laugh off for so long, that the Anchor Inn was in fact haunted as fuck. Thankfully, I don't live there anymore and I'm only a daytime customer. The end.
Ooh. No, that's an interesting one, yeah. I mean, I was in a hotel the other day because I had to shoot something the next day, and I was like, I can't sleep well in hotels, and I woke up very close to a wall, and I woke up thinking, oh, that's a white van. I was just thinking, where am I? As if that was completely normal. I get very freaked out, but when I wake up in places I'm not expecting, but I've never seen a man in the room.
I fall asleep to lots of macabre content online on YouTube. I fall asleep to sort of bizarre stories on Reddit, things like that. And because I was falling into quite a deep sleep at the point, I was absorbing the content, but also drifting off. And the content I was listening to became a nightmare about this Japanese, like kind of like the Ring, the Grudge type of thing.
He goes quite regularly to watching the Titanic. It's the real-time slow descent of the Titanic. You really like the Titanic?
Love it. Yeah, there's a real-time animation of the Titanic sinking on YouTube. It's about 4.5 hours long.
But
Just enough time to fall asleep.
It's honestly, I can't explain it. There must be something partially at least wrong with me. But it provides commentary, written commentary on each part of the historical accuracy regarding the sinking, but also the animation is it's at night, the stars are out. People forget that part of the story.
Yeah.
Jack and Rose, you know? I mean, they're not mentioned, but...
So this was a story from one of our listeners. I'm going to call it Woof Woof. So...
That's cute.
Well, we'll see how cute it is by the end. First things first, I'm very skeptical. I don't believe in ghosts in the way the mainstream perceives supernatural. And this is probably the only time I can remember in my life I was genuinely afraid. Even though I was just a child, it's still something I question so much to this day. I lived in a 2-story flat in a small village just north of Cardiff. The flats had the exact same layouts with my mum, toddler brother and older brother. It was a bit of a 90s setup. We had a living room arrangements where kids had the same bedroom, etc. Very 90s, I don't know what that means. Anyway, one morning, me and my older brother were up early watching Sharky and George. Great show, remember that? No?
Yeah, Sharky and George, detectives of the sea. Yeah.
And my mum was reading with my younger brother asleep in his cot. We heard a massive scream and mum rushed into the bedroom to find my brother crying at the corner of the wall. She picked him up and he was absolutely soaked like a bucket of water had been thrown over him.
Was it piss?
You wait. He kept pointing and say, lady, and woof woof. There was a bit of confusion, but we all went to the living room where Mum dried and changed him. Then a minute later, thereabout, we heard someone walking up the stairs outside. We heard our neighbour downstairs came in crying with a boy was also soaking wet and crying. He also said an old lady and a dog. They were both about 3 years old at the time, so didn't know what each other were saying. Both cots were in the same room and they both pointed in the same corners that Mum's friend showed us. The older I got, the weirder I thought this experience was. How they both weren't connected in any way, but they said exactly the same thing and they were both soaking wet. And it's two-story, it's a flat, so it's not on the same floor.
Like on top of each other.
Yes. An old lady woof woof. We moved a year later. My younger brother doesn't remember a thing about it. But what do you guys think happened? It's from Darren Pitway.
So the younger brother and his friend who lived upstairs both said they saw the same thing and were both found soaking wet.
Yeah, no, both saw it said old lady and a dog.
Woof woof,
And they both were soaking wet as if being thrown a bucket over them. But it was 2 stories, the flats.
No residue of water bomb, a little bit of balloon scattered on the floor.
But even with that, it's like, how are they seeing out the window, seeing a lady and a woof woof?
She could have
Thrown it at them.
thrown it.
Yeah, but if you're a kid in a cot, you're not going to be looking out and seeing outside the window.
Well, if you're then suddenly wet.
I don't know. It has to be a great shot for a water balloon for a window.
I think it's the fact that both of them are saying the same thing, and the fact that they're both wet that's quite creepy about that.
Yeah, but Dazzle, I believe you.
Let's say it's ghosts. It's
Yes,
ghosts.
it's definitely ghosts and a woof woof.
An old lady and a dog ghost.
You've had Tony Blair, a woof woof, lots of piss.
Semen.
Yep.
Yeah,
Who can forget?
Well, that was fantastic. Thank you guys so much for sharing your
absolute
stories.
pleasure.
And thank you to everyone who wrote in. Sorry if we didn't pick your story. Maybe next time. Listen to RedHanded wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you have been listening to the audio version of this, I would highly recommend that you just watch it again on YouTube. And you should also check out our new friends, I Can Murder a Podcast.
And please listen to Flesh and Code.
Yes, also that.
Please.
Because we spent ages making.
Yeah. And now Wondery's dead. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And we are.
After the release of Finding Nemo, Disney had to release a very urgent press statement explaining that not all drains lead to the ocean because loads of kids were flushing their fish down the toilet.
I do not trust that.
Nancy, stop it, dirty pig. Is she there?
It's real as well, isn't it?
And so ends our time at the Magician's House. Until next time, viewers.